Welcome back to Comic Power. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know one of my most popular videos is my video where I rank what I think are the top 10 black superheroes of all time. Most of the characters were created in the 60s or the 70s. So in my latest video, I wanted to give some love to new black superheroes. And I'm going to define new as being created after the year 2000. And let me state that Miles Morales will not be on this list. He's already graduated to the all-time top 10 list. So without further ado, let me get to the list of the top 10 new black superheroes. A lot of these characters you may not have heard of yet, so allow me the honor of introducing and explaining them to you. Here we go. Number 10 is Jackson Hyde, also known as Aqualad. This character is of Atlantean descent, and his real name is Cal Durham from his civilization. This character got a major boost in his popularity due to appearing in the animated show Young Justice. And he was a major character in all 3 seasons that it ran, and probably what you remember him for. And although it doesn't seem like it, he first appeared in comics before the animated series in Brightest Day number 4 from 2010. And like Aquaman, this character has advanced hydrokinetic powers, and he has substantial and effective leadership skills, where he was the leader of the team on Young Justice. If you're a member of the LGBTQ community, then you can claim this character because he has been depicted as being gay as well. But it doesn't define his character, it's just part of his character. He's a pretty cool and interesting character. He's going to be around for a long time. Hopefully one day he'll get the live action treatment. I would welcome that. Number 9 is Belle Brooks, also known as Bloodline. If you weren't paying attention to printed comics in 2023, let me introduce you to her. Bloodline turns out to be the daughter of Blade, the Vampire Slayer, and this comic from February 2023 was her first full appearance in comics. She got her first tease in comics in Judgment Day, the free comic book day edition from May of 2022, where she wins her first battle against a vampire who's trying to take advantage of her friend after a video game competition. And what we learn is that Blade had been hiding his daughter out with the mother of his child, as he knew his enemies would be coming for her if they knew she existed. He also granted these tools to protect, but now Belle has grown up to be an ambitious 16-year-old who has the thirst to hunt vampires herself. And over the course of a 5-issue miniseries, father and daughter reunite. I expect for them to have a relationship sort of like Obi-Wan and Luke or Mr. Miyagi and Danielson. As you may know, the Blade live-action franchise is being rebooted with Mahershala Ali playing the lead. And the question is, how soon will they put Belle in the live-action film? At the time I make this video, we don't know, but the character has made an awesome debut in comics and I can't wait to see more of her. Number 8 is Duke Thomas, also known as Signal from DC Comics. He's an African-American teen who was first introduced in Batman Volume 2, number 21 in 2013 during the 0-year storyline. Duke is supposed to be one of the few survivors of that storyline, which explores the early years of Batman's career, with Batman taking Duke under his wing and proves that Bruce Wayne isn't racist. He would expose a black teenager to as much trouble as a white teenager now. I call that equal opportunity exploitation. Duke took up the title of Signal in Batman and the Signal number 1 in 2018. In the DC Rebirth era, Duke Thomas became Batman's daytime partner known as Signal, working to protect Gotham City during daylight hours. And then of course Batman would take over at night. I look forward to seeing how DC will develop this character in the future. And will he get a chance to show up in live action? We'll see. Number 7, Delilah, but also known as just D in her comic book series Rat Queens. It's a high fantasy action dark comedy series which was first published in 2013. The team consists of Betty the Thief, Hannah the Magician, Dee the Priestess, and Violet the Dwarf. They're a team of all-female mercenaries in a medieval-looking world of magic. So think of the Rat Queens as the world of WoW meets Bridesmaids, being it's a comedically crass, female-led story. For black women that are into cosplay, Dee has been a favorite for a long time, especially for women who don't just want to play Storm all the time. If you're a regular con goer, you may have seen this character being betrayed and just didn't know who it is. It's just Dee from Rat Queens. There was talk about developing Rat Queens into an animated series in association with Heavy Metal magazine, which would ensure that it would keep the raunchy side of it. But I heard that deal fell through. But hopefully one day they will become an animated series and not just have a cult following, but be exposed to a larger audience. It'd be a slam dunk to get somebody like Cree Summer to do the voice for this character. Number 6, Lunella Lafayette, also known as Moon Girl, from Marvel Comics, introduced as one of the smartest characters in the 616 universe, making her first appearance in comics in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 1 from 2015. The big red dinosaur is Devil Dinosaur, first introduced in 1978 by Jack Kirby. The premise of this is Lunella is a 4th grade genius who discovers a Kree technology that allows her to open up a wormhole, which brings the dinosaur into our time, and it winds up becoming her sidekick. Looking at this, you may think, this is just kid stuff, this isn't for me, and you're probably right, and Marvel knows that. This is intended to be a star franchise for very young fans of Marvel, especially girls. Let's say you have a daughter that's too old for Doc McStuffins, but she's not ready for, say, Kate Bishop Hawkeye. If you're on Disney Plus, you may know that she has an animated web series. They redesigned the character for the web series and make some small tweaks, but the initial idea is still there. The series has Lawrence Fishburne as the executive producer. He does a voice on the show as well. Don't overlook this character. I think she's going to be around for a very long time. Number 5, Abram Adams, also known as Divinity from from Valiant Comics. You probably never heard of this character, so allow me to explain. You're gonna love it. He makes his first appearance in Divinity #1 from 2015. It's a story of a black Russian cosmonaut who's sent into a deep space mission by the Soviet government. He returns 55 years later in the future with the powers of a god, looking for his long-lost wife and daughter. His real name is Abram Adams, but he's nicknamed Divinity by the American government. He's got like Dr. Manhattan type level power. So he's viewed as a threat, understandably. So the American government dispatches its A-team, a team of superheroes called Unity, which consists of the Eternal Warrior, Livewire, Ninjak, and Exo Man of War. Basically the Valiant Comics version of the Avengers, to try to oppose him in the event he's hostile. The Divinity miniseries happens over 4 issues. It's an incredible science fiction story written and created by Matt Kent, and it was so popular that issue #1 went through 5 printings. Valiant hasn't done much with this character since 2017. I hope that changes in the future. Number 4 is Sjer Mullen, and she's the newest human member of the Green Lantern Corps from DC Comics. She makes a very impressive introduction to comics in her first appearance in Far Sector #1 from 2019, which is part 1 of a 12-part maxi series. Sjer is a former member of the US military and a former cop who was forced out after snitching on her partner, who was committing police brutality against an unarmed black man. She was recruited by the Guardians to become a Green Lantern, and she takes the gig. She's assigned to a far sector off into the universe, hence the name. There's not much to the gig, very little happens. They haven't even had a murder in over 500 years. So guess what happens in issue 1? You guessed it. The first murder in 500 years happens under her watch. So she has to wind up playing space detective in a whodunit. And then there's political unrest that's about to break out and riots are about to happen. So as the space cop for the far sector, it's her job to handle all of this, and it's a lot to handle. The story is written by N.K. Jemisin, and she's one of the few black female science fiction writers out there. The art is by Jamal Campbell, who I listed as my breakout artist of 2023. He's currently drawing Superman at the time I make this video. If the name Sjer sounds familiar to you, that means you paid attention in Black History class. Sjer Mullen is named after Sojourner Truth, who was a real-life abolitionist. And doesn't the design of this character remind you of somebody? Yep, the singer and actress Janelle Monáe is the inspiration for this character. She's been experimenting in her music for a long time, tapping into Afrofuturism. A lot of people think that she's just being weird, but I think she's just before her time. Here's a fan-made mock-up of what she might look like if she was cast for this role in live action for real. When you look at the side-by-side, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? The character is also an LGBTQ character, just like Janelle is in real life. James Gunn is promising a Green Lantern Corps on HBO Max in live action. Let's say that it actually happens and you get to season 3 or 4, then maybe you can bring in Sjer Mullen at that time. What do you think? Number 3, Riri Williams, also known as Ironheart from Marvel Comics. She was created by Brian Michael Bendis, who also created Miles Morales. We're first introduced to Riri in Invincible Iron Man #7 from 2016. She's a 15-year-old kid from the rough streets of Chicago, who turns out to be a genius inventor. She obtains a full scholarship to MIT, is where we pick up with her, where she builds her first suit in her dorm room. They call campus security on her because she's making too much noise, but when they show up, she comes out like this saying, "It's okay, I think I'm done with school." And like Tony Stark in that cave, she used scrap parts to make something incredible. The character got redesigned by J. Scott Campbell and headlined her own title around 2018. As you can see, the character has been consistently upgrading her armor, just like her mentor Tony Stark. This is currently the latest version she's rocking in the comics. As you can see, the character became an immediate cosplay hit among young black females, which is a key demographic for Marvel's future. They kept the character busy and crossed her over with Moon Girl in Moon Girl issue #15, and then with Shuri in Wakanda in issue #9 and issue #12 of Ironheart's own series. They also added her to a team of teenage heroes called the Champions. In 2019, she was also the star of an animated feature called Marvel Rising: Heart of Iron, but you probably know her best from her scene-stealing appearance in Wakanda Forever in live action in 2022, where she was played to perfection by Dominique Thorne. A live-action web series for this character is still in development at the time I make this video. I definitely welcome it to see what they're going to do with the character. I give the Ironheart character and the actress who's playing her 2 big thumbs up. Number 2, Adam Bashir, also known as the Blue Marvel from Marvel Comics. When the question is asked, who's the first black superhero in Marvel, people say the Black Panther, which is still technically true, but the Blue Marvel has been retconned to be the first black superhero in Marvel. All of this is explained in his first appearance in comics in Adam, the Legend of the Blue Marvel from Marvel Comics in 2008. His story is supposed to be taking place in the early 1960s, and he's a brilliant scientist who gets superpowers from anti-matter manipulation. Of course, he dons a suit, a mask, and a cape, and he goes out and fight crime. What else you gonna do? So in this 1960s retcon of Marvel continuity, the Black Black Panther is not known to the rest of the world. He's back in Wakanda, protecting his kingdom. While at the same time, the Blue Marvel is in America, basically being Superman. But when it's found out by the public at large that he's black, he's viewed as a scary threat. And President Kennedy thanks him for his service, but tells him to retire because the world is not ready for a black superhero. He follows the advice of the president. He decides to unretire in our time as an older man. He joins a superhero team called the Ultimates, alongside Black Panther, Captain Marvel, America Chavez, and Monica Rambeau, who he develops a relationship with. Marvel really should be doing more with this character. I don't know why they're not. Alright, before we get to number 1 on the list, let's go over some honorable mentions. All these characters are worthy of your time, so be sure to Google them if you don't know them. Tim Fox, also known as Jace Fox. He's the son of Lucius Fox, the inventor, who helps Batman with his tech. In the Future State storyline from 2021, Fox takes over as the new Batman. Instead of the cowl, a full mask, so you'll know he's black. Domino Swift from Image Comics. She's a black female racing champion taking place about 50 years in the future. She's an LGBTQ character, and she makes her first appearance in Motor Crush #1 from 2016. Morris Sackett, also known as Mosaic from Marvel Comics. He's an Inhuman, and he has the power to take over other people's bodies. I guess you could say he's Marvel's answer to Deadman. He made his first appearance in Uncanny Inhumans #11 in 2016. Tiana Toombs, also known as Starling from Marvel Comics. She is the granddaughter of Adrian Toombs, aka the Vulture, and uses a lot of his technology. She makes her first full appearance in the cover in Miles Morales Spider-Man issue #6 in 2019. She's sort of been like the femme fatale for Miles Morales. Peter Parker has the Black Cat fill in this role, and Starling could do it for Miles Morales. Al Harper, aka Ghostlight. He's an African-American physicist that made his first appearance actually in 1969 in Silver Surfer #5. However, he was upgraded to Ghostlight in Silver Surfer Ghostlight #1 from 2023. Naomi McDuffie, aka Powerhouse from DC Comics. She made her first appearance in Naomi #1 from 2019. Her storyline is similar to Harry Potter, that she's the chosen one from a humble beginning. DC went all in on the character and gave her her own live-action TV show in 2021, starring this actress, but no one watched the show because no one cared because they didn't develop the character correctly. There's still potential in Naomi, she just needs some actual development. Adi Akonoko, also known as Oya, or Third Light, a mutant for the X-Men universe in Marvel. She's a mutant from Nigeria that has the power to control both heat and cold. A character Marvel definitely should be using more. She makes her first appearance in comics in X-Men 528 in 2010. Malik Adam White. He's a young African-American doctor doing his residency. Because comics, he's chosen to take over as the new Black Adam, making his first appearance in Black Adam #1 from 2022. Senna Starros from Marvel Comics. She's a smuggler and a space pirate in the Star Wars universe who has a past with Han Solo, and she winds up tracing him down, which embarrasses Han and winds up surprising Princess Leia, and she like, Harpo, who this woman? Senna made her first appearance in Star Wars #4 from 2015. They expanded her story in a miniseries which was hugely underrated. She's also an LGBTQ character. And Elijah Bradley, also known as Patriot from Marvel Comics. This character made his first appearance and was a founding member of the team in Young Avengers #1 in 2005. He's the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, the original Black Captain America that we learned about in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. On the left is Elijah Bradley, aka Patriot, and on the right is Isaiah Bradley, his grandfather. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Now let's get to #1 of the best new black superhero created since 2000. I thought it was pretty obvious that #1 was going to be Princess Shuri of Wakanda from Marvel Comics. With the mega success of the live-action Black Panther movies, Shuri is already a household name even for people that never even read a comic book in their life. With Letitia Wright bringing this character to life, she's just so awesome. The character had a very humble beginning, making her first appearance in comics in Black Panther #2 in 2005. Created by Hollywood director Reginald Hudlin during his run on Black Panther. And this is what she looked like. She had a very basic design, but they add layers to her over time, making her the chief technology expert on the vibranium of Wakanda. Her best known storyline, which gave inspiration for Wakanda Forever, was the Black Rain storyline from 2009, where T'Challa Black Panther is out of commission and she has to take over as the active Black Panther. And that J. Scott Campbell variant is the best thing ever. In the comics, she was just the interim Black Panther, and T'Challa eventually returned. But as you know, in real life, Chadwick Boseman passed, so it put Marvel in a real bind on what they were going to do to go forward. But I believe tapping into the Black Rain storyline where Shuri becomes Black Panther was the right thing to do. Shuri sells toys and merchandise, and this is what she looks like in the comics right now. Instead of the comic inspiring the movie, it looks like the movie is now inspiring the comic in terms of how she's designed. So expect to see great things continue for this character in all media. She's Princess Shuri in the comics, but Queen of Wakanda in the movies, and I'm here for it. Alright, thank you for watching my top 10 new black superhero list. More than likely, there's some new characters here that you never heard of you can look into now. I thought it was important to point out all the characters that were LGBTQ, because my YouTube channel is a safe place, it's all inclusive, and all are welcome here. Let me reiterate again that this list was for new black superheroes, all created after the year 2000. You should be seeing an end screen now for my top 10 black superheroes of all time overall. And let me repeat again, Miles Morales has already graduated to the all-time list already, despite being a relatively new black superhero first created in 2011. Until next time, this is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power, saying bye-bye.